Hello, Kaci Brown here. I am thrilled to welcome you to the Brace for Impact podcast. I've been incredibly blessed to work with and coach some of the top entrepreneurs, CEOs, and marketers in the industry. And do you know the one thing that they all had in common? They didn't wait for the perfect time, but hit the ground running. They learned to see opportunity in motion and just leap. I created this podcast to help other entrepreneurs own their calling, expand their influence, get uncomfortable, embrace the growth of the journey to leave an impact on the world around them. For those who are ready to stop playing it small, to pick up the mantle of contribution that our clients in the world so desperately need. If that's you, then get ready to brace for impact as I share with you the top strategies, real truths, and hacks to crash through the obstacles and arrive in alignment of integrity, impact, and income. It's time to initiate the ripple effect of change. Hi, everybody. This is Kaci Brown. Welcome to the next episode of Brace for Impact podcast, the second part of the behind-the-scenes update of the Amplify Retreat. We are actually driving in a Mustang convertible
on the 101
on the way to La Mirada.
And then on to San Diego. Let's not forget that part.
Yes, so the Amplify Retreat just wrapped up today, so we are leaving LA on our way to La Mirada, dropping off the incredible Nic FItzgerald with some friends, and then Amber and I are on the way to San Diego for another retreat. So it was super, super exciting, and we have an hour and a half in the car. So what we decided to do is kill some time with the podcast and give you guys a much needed update of what went on and how awesome everything was. And I get to be live again with my next guest, Mr. Nic FItzgerald. What is up, Nic?
What's up, Kaci?
All right, so most of you guys probably know Nic, but Nic, just for the ones who may not have had the extreme pleasure of meeting you or just experiencing your amazingness, can you do a quick introduction? And let me preface this with, Nic was the first person, well, of course, besides Jorge, because the retreat was in LA, to check with dates. Nic was the second person that I called to check his calendar with dates because he does amazing professional videography, and it was our top priority not only for this first retreat to not only have like proof of concept and, you know, do a successful first run and make sure that everything that we had envisioned was going to work out for the future with the new rollouts for 2020. But Nic was my number one choice for marketing assets, and absolutely one of my best friends ever in the world, and absolutely one of the tallest men I know in my life. So go ahead and do a quick introduction, Nic, just for the ones who may not be as familiar with you.
Yes, I'm Nic FItzgerald. Everyone calls me the Friendly Giant. That is actually the name of my company, Friendly Giant Films, and I help entrepreneurs and businesses take their stories and experiences and sell more of their products and services through powerful stories and amazing videos, of course. And so I've been doing that for the last 4 years now, and it's just been an absolute blast, and it's led me to meeting awesome people like Kaci here. So
yes, so Nic and I were together, I guess a couple years ago going on now, right? We were together in the Comma Club X training program. We met for the first time in Boise, and the rest is history.
Yep.
Just, you know, the alignment of our vision and the way that we do business, and the commitment to service and impact. I mean, I'm so blessed to have Nic in my life, and was really, really excited to work with him on this. But before we dive deep into that, let's have some fun facts. Nic, exactly how tall are you?
I am 6 feet 9 inches tall.
Holy smokes, I never realized it was almost a whole foot taller than me.
There you go.
I am 5'9.5".
Oh, okay. I'll stand on my tippy toes so that we'll make it an even foot.
And I love being around Nic because I was always really, really tall, and I was the tallest one all the time. So Nic makes me feel feel small and petite, and I've never felt small and petite in my whole entire life. So I just love going everywhere with Nic. So, all right, so now for the fun stuff. Nic, give us the down low of what was going on in the retreat from your perspective.
Oh my goodness. Lots of epic awesomeness, basically. Like, we were in the Hollywood Hills, in the distance, like, and by distance I say like maybe a mile away from where we were. We could see Universal Studios and like the spires on the castle of Hogwarts and all that stuff. It was pretty cool, and we had just an amazing group of entrepreneurs who were there to learn and to pour into each other, and to also take action and get results and get clarity and everything on specific things for their business. And I had the fun opportunity to take part and lend some of my thoughts, but just to be a witness of everything, being a stalker, so to speak, and watching through my lens, being a creeper. We can queue up the police. I'll be watching you or every step you take, right?
Yes, and I hope the editor's listening just in case, like, cue the music.
Cue the music. And it was just a treat to be able to be with these amazing people and to be able to witness the growth that they experienced, and to be able to just, I don't know, it was really cool to see Cassie in her element. Like, she and I have spoken so many times and we know each other on a personal level, but I've only had a handful of opportunities to really see her in her element, doing her thing where she's in state and she's just on fire. And it was really fun to be able to witness that. But then also how everyone that was attending, and especially those that came with their business in mind, how they raised their state and all that thing. It did a lot of things that normally they probably wouldn't if they were left to their own devices, and it was pretty awesome.
True, and I appreciate that compliment. It means a lot, because I've seen you speak, I've seen you lead, and I know the level of quality that has to show up, and that means the world to me, Nic. And what he's talking about is, so the previous podcast that Jorge and I did was after day one, and it was just sort of like the tip of the iceberg, right? We're working through like the leadership and fully taking responsibility for what it is in your mission. And of course, like, we're all growing and continuing to develop, and I think that's the one thing that everyone has to remember, that no matter where they are at in their journey, there's still kind of that next step on the mountain to climb. So Nic was day 2 with storytelling, and just the way that he presents and shares his expertise, just like he is the guy that you want there, like on the other side of that camera, not just pushing the button and editing and for the creative angle, but he's the one that you want there for the strategy. So Nic, do you want to just give like a few little teaser points on some of the stuff that we talked about in the workshop?
Yeah, for sure. So whenever I sit down with somebody, or I'm talking to somebody about developing their stories for their business, their brand messaging, the things that are going to connect and resonate with their audience, like, I always say, and this tip, it's so simple and almost cliche, but it's absolutely true, is that you need to begin with the end in mind. You need to have a purpose, or I'm losing the words because it's late and we're all tired.
It's a destination that you want to take them.
Yeah, you want to be able to have them take action and lead them to a conclusion. So whether that's a sale or a follow or them just getting to know you, right? You want them to feel, think, and do certain things. And so when you determine what you want to have happen, then you are prepared to be able to craft the stories and share the experiences that will bring them to that conclusion. And so, that's the thing I always say, is you have to have an intention. That was the word I was struggling with earlier. You have to have an intention and a purpose behind your messaging if you want to be able to lead your audience to the conclusion that you're wanting them to take. And so simplicity and purpose, once you apply that simple thing, seriously, the effectiveness of your message just gets amplified and grows from there. And so that's tip number one. With anything you do, whether it's an Instagram story, a Facebook post, a blog, a vlog, a marketing message, or a Facebook Live or whatever, have a purpose to it. Don't just go live for the sake of going live. So that's tip number one. And then let's see, what's another good one here that we can give you guys is every good story has 3 simple things. Or every story has these 3 things, but every great story does specific things with them. I do a whole training on this that breaks it all down, but every good story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And I keep it 5th grade level because it's super simple to remember. But within each of those areas, those stories, the storytellers do specific things to build that connection, that buy-in, to really increase the power of the story, so that when the end comes and you make that offer or you invite them to join you in a cause that you have put passion and your time into, they will jump out of their seats, they will run and go with you. And so as you find out that and set that intention, focus on building and bringing those people along on the journey, and good things will happen in your story and in the relationships that you build and the brand that you build from there. So there's a couple things. I don't know, Cass, what do you think? Is there anything else I should add there?
I think we might just put a pin in it right there,
Yeah.
because there's some things that you have coming up that we're going to work on together to get launched.
Yep.
That I'm super excited to share, and also, of course, the next Amplify retreat. So I think that's a great little teaser of just some foundational information. And like, if nothing else, like, I think we should also give them this. Like, video is one of the most powerful things that you can incorporate in your marketing and your personal brand. And just, it's one of those things that it touches on all of the senses, the visual, the audio, and it's just that human connection that is essential to set you apart from all of the noise. And the first tip that Nic shared, absolutely 100%, like, just do not publish to publish or put a video out there without intention. Like, there's plenty of other people doing that, and if you always have intention and lead with value, again, you're just going to set yourself apart from everybody else. And in my opinion, anyway, you don't all, and the intention, okay, maybe this, let's go down this road. The intention doesn't always have to be to sell.
Absolutely.
Let's expand on that.
Yeah. So here's the thing. We're all in business and we're here to make money, right? Like, you can say it's all heart-driven and stuff, but you still have to live. You have bills to pay.
You gotta pay the bills. Profitability is key.
Exactly. And so I know that because I've been in this zone and this state before too, when things might be tough and challenging, that you have the need for yourself to sell in order to eat dinner this month, right? And I totally get that, but there are ways to go about building that audience so that when the times come when you are strategically ready to launch or offer a product or service to your audience, your list, that when that time comes, they will not get burnt out by being pitched over and over again. And they will be excited to buy and support you because, one, they have a personal relationship with you. If you've been using video, they've looked you in the eye through a lens, and they've built a personal connection to you. I have so many people come up to me when I go to networking events and when I'm around and even I've had some people in my community where I live that have seen some of my things, and they feel a connection to me, and they say, I watch every single one of your lives, or I saw your video and it was just so awesome, those kinds of things, because we were able to look eye to eye and have a moment of personal connection through story. That now when I say I have this amazing course, or I've got this amazing offer coming together to be able to help entrepreneurs batch a year's worth of content, or whatever it might be, or there's this amazing retreat that my friend Cassie's putting on, right? When I make those offers, they are just prepared and ready to jump in and follow because they want to do the things that you're doing. They want to be involved. They've gotten so much value from you that naturally they're going to want to give value back And a lot of that is in the form of them becoming a client or joining your course or your event or those kinds of things. So when we use video, do not pitch every time you go on. Make an offer, yes, but that offer doesn't have to be to buy something or even to opt in. It's like, go out and share goodness with somebody today and come back and tell me about it. You know, those kinds of things. Give them something actionable to do that will enrich their lives, and then when the time comes that you make an offer that will still enrich their lives but requires an investment, it's a no-brainer for them because they've received so much value and impact from you already.
I love that. I think like that's one of the cornerstone pieces that I teach too, is just don't show up when you want to sell something. You know, you've got to build that connection and that reliability, because there is just a ton of information that hits everybody left and right, you know, whether it's social media or driving down the freeway, right? Highway, right? Yeah. So you're driving down the freeway, you know, you got billboards, you've got bus signs, you got all of this type of stuff, this information overload. Just be part of something that's incredible, like brighten someone's day. I love that you said that, like just encourage them to go encourage someone else. And that's, you know, that's part of the pay it forward movement, the ripple effect, and it's just, could you imagine if more people did that?
Geez, like everyone complains about all the negative things they see in the media and in the world, but there's far more good that goes on than that. They do that because that's how they sell. But when we put that goodness back into our communities, into our neighborhoods, our friends, our families, and to the strangers that we live around and can serve, nothing but good will come from it.
Exactly.
Everyone grows together. My dad has a saying that he taught me, and he said, "Thou lift me, and I'll lift thee, and we'll ascend together."
Oh, that's beautiful.
Right, and it's the same thing. Like when the tide rises, all the boats. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but you know.
Rising tide lifts all ships.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same concept. When we pour goodness into each other, goodness is the result. You reap what you sow.
Oh, I'm gonna put a pin in that right there. That's gonna probably be our quote card for the episode for Nick. That's amazing.
But it's absolutely 100% true. So just lead with the good. When you offer something for sale, goodness will return back to you in that form. So that's what that's my belief.
I love it. And so like to follow a similar format to what we did with Jorge, like we led with, you know, what we were working on with the retreat, some little bit behind the scenes, and then we moved into kind of like his story. So can you take a few minutes and kind of just share like where you were, the transition that you made to like that entrepreneurial drive, and where you're at now and where you're going?
Yeah, for sure. So I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit, but I let too many people influence my decisions throughout my life by being responsible or doing what I was told that I was supposed to do, which, you know, for most people in my generation, it was go to school, get a degree, get a good job, you know, all these things. So I'm a college flunk out, basically. Like I didn't choose to leave. I was asked to leave, basically, because I didn't have good grades. And, you know, so I started working in corporate America, and I went from job to job, loving the people that I worked with, but hating the work that I was doing, chasing a paycheck, just seeing who would value me enough that would pay my bills. And so 2014 ended with a letter that was sent to my home. It was in November, so it's been almost 5 years since then. That's crazy. I'm going to have to have an anniversary party on this date. But
I'm all for parties.
Yeah. I received a letter informing me that I was terminated as a financial advisor because I was not going to hit my sales requirements for the year. And I was super frustrated and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. That year I made $15,000. As a father of 4, we welcomed our youngest to our family that year, and I just struggled trying to reboot my practice after a partnership fell apart. And I finally, we had no money left. We were renting a basement apartment from a family member. There was just nowhere to go but up. And I finally listened to that voice that had been telling me to do my own thing for a long time. And I finally just set out. I wanted to do video production. So I started a video production company without a video camera, and I went out and started making videos for people. And that journey started me on a path that led me to freelancing as a photojournalist for the NBC affiliate. We're working on 13 feature films to working on a couple of TV series and lots of commercials with big brands like IntelliBed and Purple Mattress and the Boy Scouts of America and Vivint and all these big companies. And
now you can add the Amplify Retreat.
And now the Amplify Retreat is on there. And, you know, I was working really hard, becoming very good at my technical skills, but I still wasn't making any money. And I was so frustrated because I didn't have the time to put in 10 years in the film industry to be able to work up to the level that I wanted, for the income that I wanted. And so I got back to my initial focus through a dear friend of mine that I've known since we were little kids, through elementary school, all through high school. We reconnected. I had some challenges financially going on in my life, and he saw a post that I did on Facebook and reached out and gave me some guidance. And it forever changed my life. I'm super grateful for it because it reiterated to me that I had skills that were valuable to people, and that as I learned to use those skills to not only help people feel good and give them videos or whatever, but to be able to help them make more money and grow in their business, that I could be able to charge the fees that I wanted to and get the amazing clients that I'd always dreamed of. And so I set out with this renewed focus and started, just pushing hard. And that's where I joined a coaching program, like that's where I met Cassie and Jorge and everyone who was actually at the retreat. It was pretty cool. It was like a family reunion, and I met some amazing people and got some cool clients, but I learned so much about myself and how to build a business, so that now I'm able to come and spend 3 days away from my family and, do some amazing work with awesome people that is good for myself but great for them in the end. And so, that's kind of what I had built things to, and now I'm really working on being able to help entrepreneurs leverage my time and skills and to leverage their time by condensing it, by helping them, be able to batch and get a year's worth of content within a week, that then all I have to do is either push publish or, the things that I'm working on, which is super exciting, and details will come out, of course.
Oh yeah,
as
I'm
Cassie
super
and I work
excited
about
about
it.
this, yeah.
But where the automation and having things post and rank and everything that you want with video views happen without them having to do anything. So, that's where I'm going to be able to give people businesses that are, growing and thriving, and now it's time to really leverage and level up to be able to give them the tools and the materials and the assets that they need so that they can really have, build the audience, get the message out on a larger scale.
Exactly. And I love that you went there. Your story is absolutely incredible, and I am so thankful that we were both in Orlando that day to make the decision to join, a program that we honestly both had no business in. Because you talk about leap of faith, and this is one of them. And I think that's the boldness that I admire in Nick. And we both have a sports background, and just to be able to visualize what the opportunity is staring you in the face, and knowing all you have to do is take the step forward.
Yeah.
And I think for both of us, even though that decision looked different with both of our families, it meant the same thing, right? It meant a crazy leap forward that to many it really didn't make sense. And I go back to that moment quite a bit because I'm a very positive person. I'm a very driven person, disciplined, And it's one of those things where it's like you go back and forth, like, do I need a mentor? Don't I need a mentor? Do I need a coach? Don't I need a coach? Like, I'm doing pretty good on my own. I'm really grateful. I've got a positive attitude. Like, I can do anything I can put my mind to. But there was something that just needed to break through.
Yeah.
And just being in that world and seeing the way that you can accelerate your growth. And I really wanted to share that part of it because, like, both of us have literally just given it our all since day one in that and joining the program and just leveraging the experience, the network, what we were surrounded with and taught, and that was really what I wanted to pour into the retreat. Like everything that over the last 2 years, essentially in 4 days, like to cut through all the noise, cut through all the fluff to accelerate the process.
Yeah. Well, and not only did we, through the course of the things that Kaci and I have experienced and learned through our coaching programs and things that we're a part of, yes, there's the information and there's the things like that, but the two greatest things, and Kaci, you can tell me if this is for me, and Kaci, you can chime in and let
I have a feeling
know.
I'm going to say yes, I agree. But,
but like, number one, the value was in the community, like being able to make, Cassie's not a friend, she's a fan, she's my sister, Jorge's my brother, those kinds of things. And so that was the number one, like the great piece of value that I got from it. But number two was not any specific strategy or somebody telling me what to do. It was me realizing that I am a leader and that there are people that I can serve right now, regardless of the amount of people that are following me or how many people I have on an email list or whatever, that there are people I can serve right now and get them results immediately. And that instead of being a follower and, toeing the line or whatever, that I can lead in the way that I want, and I'm going to attract the people that I want to work with by leading in that way. And for me, those were the two greatest things. And honestly, this Amplify retreat would not have happened if Kaci had not realized that herself. She leveraged and used and partnered and worked and set goals to work with people that she wanted to, that she resonated with, that she connected with. But then she led. She had people come from the other side of the planet.
That's true. I was shocked.
Because, and it wasn't even like, that would be cool, but like they said, I need to be there. And they came.
Yeah.
And that does not happen if Kaci continues to be, if she's not leading and stepping into her purpose that way. And so that's the great thing about the Amplify retreat that I saw as well, is like seeing everyone, but especially seeing Kaci, seeing you really shine and step into that purpose and own it. Like you were just on fire the whole time. It was super fun to watch.
Thank you, Nick. It was pretty surreal for me too. It was one of those things where it's like you have this vision and you have this like, okay, let's try this idea out, right? Is it gonna work? And then like when you're watching it work, you're like, holy smokes, like this is it. Like this is the thing that lights me on fire. I thought I was already on fire, but look out, like this is a freaking inferno. So it was just, and I would agree with everything that you said. Absolutely. I wholeheartedly believe that leaders create other leaders. Yeah. And the more of us that are out there leading the way and creating that ripple effect of income, that we exponentially increase the impact that we can create, like beyond ourselves. Yeah. So that was my goal, and honestly, like my secret weapon was imperfect action. It wasn't studying and getting it perfect. It was literally just stepping up and realizing, oh, there's a gap over here. Somebody needs my help, and then I have that information or the strategy or that nudge to get them in the right direction moving, so that they can go and put their incredible offer out in front of somebody. I realized really quick, like that's my gift and that's my superpower, and the more people that I can activate, just the better that everyone's business is going to go. Because that's another thing that we covered is like those win-win-win scenarios, and I've done a podcast episode on that before, that it's not just like when you create a business that business is not just to benefit you. Like, it's great, like, you know, your impact is profitability and your family first, but if you strive to create incredible results, then you've created the win-win. But then when you plant that seed of leadership and impact in others, that's where the win-win-win comes into play, and it's unstoppable.
Exactly. Like the greatest discoveries and breakthroughs in humankind have come from mistakes, have come from people taking a leap of faith, and of course they have also come through hard work and study. When you combine those things and you prepare yourself, yes, but you, like Cassie said, take that imperfect action. Just do something instead of waiting to do. Like, you don't need anyone to give you permission. If you're waiting for somebody to give you permission, Cassie and I give you permission right now. But like, just get out, get off your butt, stop feeling sorry for yourself, and stop complaining about the things that are happening and putting the blame on somebody else. If you're not happy with where you're at, the only person you have to blame is yourself. And that's hard for people to hear. It's hard for me to hear when I've been in those situations. But once I picked myself up and stopped being a baby about it and took steps forward, that's what was able to get me my first $25,000 client. That was what was able to get me 22 people that bought into a beta version of my program. That's what got, you know, all these different amazing things happened for me by me just getting out there and doing it. And I made mistakes. I got rejected. All those things. But I kept making offers and people accepted them as well.
Yep. And it's not always going to be perfect the first time.
Exactly.
I think that's the biggest thing. I think one of Jorge's favorite phrases to me was, especially like when you talked about, like, you know, if you're unhappy or you're complaining or you're scared or whatever, like, his favorite thing was like, well, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
It was always action oriented. It wasn't like, okay, yeah, sit and stew with it and then come talk to me tomorrow. And no, it was like, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
And that's why it was just incredible to have that come full circle, for you to be there at the retreat and for him to be there at the retreat. Because, like, I still remember crying my face off in our first power group meeting, sharing the funnel, like the sales page funnel, with you guys, and it was just so hard for me to even explain or put into words. And I don't know if you remember, Nick, but you sent me a message after that. I think it was just a voicemail, and it was just so uplifting and encouraging. You were like, it was incredible to hear your story. I know it's hard right now, but you're going to do great things. Do not stop, and I'm here for you anytime that you need. Like, it was amazing. Yeah,
well, that's the thing is, I've been on the crying end of those types of calls and meetings and discussions as well, because sometimes you just push and push and push, and you're grinding and you're staying up late and you're putting in all these hours and researching, but something doesn't feel right, or it's not connecting with the audience. And when you can have somebody, entrepreneurship's lonely at times. Like, any one of you knows that and has felt that. And if I myself, it's a goal of mine to, you know, I've had to pick myself up and give myself a pep talk so many times. I don't want somebody to have to do that all the time. So, you know, by reaching out or sharing, just giving a little pep talk every once in a while to somebody that you feel it's amazing the impact it has. I never knew the impact, or, you know, that had on you until you brought it up to me. It was almost like a year later when you shared that experience. I was like, wow, I had no idea, right? And that's the joy of, you know, being a CEO that cares. You know, when you share and give of yourself in that way, amazing things happen, and it always gets returned to you. It doesn't come immediately most times, but you get back what you give. And if there's nothing else, take action and give. And nothing but good will come from it.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I have to note here, it's interesting. So, like, when I talked to Jorge the other day, we were still at the house at the retreat. You could hear the crickets. And our ambiance here is a Mustang convertible, whatever the engine is. Amber can probably tell us.
GT.
GT, whatever. What is it? What's the number?
I was told it's an 8-cylinder, so.
Oh, 8-cylinder. So we have that and the wind and the female Mario Andretti, Miss Amber, was driving us. That's doing an amazing job. So it's a stark contrast to the peaceful, serene crickets in the background.
Has a lot more energy.
But it's been fun, and I can't wait for the next one. Like Nick and I and Jorge had a chance to kind of do a little quick debrief and kind of just like brainstorm and dream big, like, you know, talking about like what can we do better, what went well, how can we improve things, be more efficient, and you know what that 2.0 retreat looks like for next time. And so Nick, like, let's put it out there, like what are some places that you want to go and want to take this?
Oh man, I just had this thought as you were talking about that of going to an amazing castle house in like the Highlands in Scotland.
Oh,
that would be awesome.
Declare it. That's awesome.
And of course going to Australia, or I think Jorge. Yeah, we'll have to obligatory say Canada because we've got a Canadian with us. No, just kidding. Canada. I know some people who would definitely come to that. And then, oh man, it would be fun to go.
I've scoped out Paris and London.
Okay.
Hawaii,
then I'm throwing
I think,
Scotland
is next
in there.
on my list.
Okay, Hawaii, absolutely. I'll throw in Australia and Scotland into that list.
I love it. So for those of you who are listening, reach out to us and let us know what some interesting places that you would love to see. And I think the biggest thing that about the location was just being able to unplug, right? It wasn't just about, we talked about this today, you know, it wasn't just being like part of a sea of like 800 people who were there to just sit and take notes for 8 hours and then exhaustedly go to bed and get up and do it again and then travel on a plane and then lose all the energy and momentum that you created at the event.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing is the assets that you created to them, they were created at the height of creativity and inspiration and confidence. And that is incredible because, you know, even when I'm at home and trying to figure out like what I'm going to publish, and I do drag my feet when it comes to pushing that go live or that record button, and just being surrounded by people that you love and who are, you know, rallying with you, like it changes your energy, it changes the way that you show up, and it helps you take those bold steps forward. So I think that's it. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Nick? We've got like another hour, but I don't think we need a whole hour and a half podcast. But
no, I think the only thing is like talking about the contrast of being. It's interesting. The interview with Jorge was in the Hollywood Hills with crickets chirping. We're in the middle of a 1 million person city.
Yep.
And it was so quiet and peaceful up there that we were able to focus and get things done. And now we're cruising down. We've been on the 101, and now we're on I-5 heading south, and cars, and we're zipping around and all this stuff. But we're now we're bringing the calm with the things that we're talking about.
Right.
And that's what entrepreneurship is. Sometimes things are crazy, but when you can get into state, when you can get focused, it doesn't matter what mayhem may be going around. You will move forward and get towards your destination. And then at the times when you can find that serenity, you can be super clear and focused in the middle of the chaos that's going on around you. So I just had that thought when you were mentioning.
I love it. And you know what? I just had a thought too. I think this should be a 2-part episode.
Okay.
So this is the end of part 1.
Thanks so much for spending time with me today. I hope you've received value, encouragement, and exactly what you need to help keep you in momentum to grow and impact the world around you. Big or small, we all make a difference. Thanks also for subscribing, downloading, and leaving a review. This helps us reach others who need this message in their life. If you know anyone who would benefit from this podcast, please share. so you and I can help more people boldly step into purpose. It is my heart's mission to help and encourage others. My internal belief that a rising tide lifts all ships. So much of what we talk about on the podcast is leading with value and building relationships through service. So we've created a collection of resources for you to continue growing, whether you are just getting started or ready to scale your business. Visit amplifymyimpact.com for show notes, downloads, programs, and more information about how to directly work with our team to amplify your impact and change the world.